3 years ago in 2020, we had an idea. And that idea was we needed to change the nature of the conversation around talent acquisition and retention in America. What we needed to do, or what we thought, was that the idea that we could train a bunch of people inside of our training institutions and hope they could find a job was not working. So what we decided to do is get on the employer side of the equation. And we understood that in America, fundamentally, nobody finds a job until an employer actually offers them a job. So when we got on the demand side of the equation, we started a program aligned around a single mission that we could help our employers, specifically small and medium-sized employers, improve their talent acquisition and retention systems. And if they did, they would run a better business. And if they ran a better business, they would be able to provide more capacity to the Navy to meet the Navy ship construction, ship sustainment program for the next 30 years. This is a big problem with a big challenge that the people in this room have decided to take on in a very meaningful way.
All right, well, good morning. How's everybody doing today? It's really a fantastic event. Thank you, Matt, for that introduction. And to those completing the 2023 Virginia Talent Pipeline and signing on to a company, and those celebrating a new addition to the team, congratulations, or as we say in the Navy, bravo Zulu. I'm honored to be with you today for your signing for this program and allowing me to be part of the conclusion of this chapter of your lives and the beginning of the next. And what an exciting day. I can sense the excitement in the room. I can see it in your faces, and especially coming from your loved ones who are extremely proud of what you have accomplished and what you will accomplish, as Matt said, in support of our national security. And let me take a moment to address the family and friends directly. Given this diverse group of government executives and program offices, industry leaders, retirees, veterans, I hope all are acutely aware of my on-the-record displeasure with our collective inability to produce and deliver ordnance on time and on cost, to complete maintenance and modernization availabilities on time and on cost, and the need to be at flank speed to build the much-needed capacity and output from our public and private shipyards. But on this signing day and Talent Pipeline Program Acknowledgement Celebration, my message remains consistent. We must all work together to build concrete and accountable actions that will get our Navy ship and submarine building plan back on track. This is an imperative that will ultimately allow fleet and type commanders to generate the forces needed that are combat ready and support our forward operational commanders, and additionally have an equally prepared force standing at the ready to surge and support contingency operations. And with that in mind, what I want to talk to you about today is the assembly of a world-class team of shipbuilders, engineers, program managers, business leaders, industry partners, sailors and operators, welders, pipe fitters, craftsmen, trainers, and facilitators that we will accomplish side by side, day in and day out, all in the name of peace, security, and prosperity of this great nation. In short, we protect America from attack and go forward to defend our interests around the world, and if needed, fight and win on terms favorable to the United States. I will tell you as straightforward and as simply as possible, we need everyone in this room and across the nation to be all in, and not only the ship and submarine building and repair industry, but the defense industrial base writ large. There are threats on the horizons, and peacetime operations could one day become full kinetic warfare with little notice. As you see and hear about in the news, we are operating squarely in a maritime era. For decades now, we've enjoyed freedom of maneuver around the world and have supported our land and air forces securely from the sea. But we're in a different world today. The sea has once again emerged as the primary focal point for peer competition, and the stakes have never been higher. China's Navy is the largest in the world, with a battle force of around 340 platforms, including major surface combatants, submarines, ocean-going amphibious ships, mine warfare ships, aircraft carriers, and fleet auxiliaries. This figure does not include the approximately 85 patrol combatants and craft that carry anti-ship cruise missiles. The overall battle force of China's Navy is expected to grow to 400 ships by 2025 and 440 by 2030. The U.S. Navy is around 295 ships and will remain at that number over the next few years. With strategic competition here, the potential for strategic conflict steadily grows, and we cannot afford to continue to fall behind. We must leverage our areas of overmatch and enduring value. That's why in 2021, the Department of Defense, through the program of Executive Office Submarines, funded this talent pipeline program, and thank God we did. Simply stated, the Department of Defense is investing time and energy into supporting the talent pipeline programs to build a strong foundation for private companies to ensure we never enter a fair fight with our Navy. The program office and Joe Barto and his team, and I believe all that with the positive performance and growth comes through teamwork. Teamwork on the production floor with transparent leaders, champion constructive debate, innovation, hard work, and accountability. We need our workforce to not just feel a sense of connectedness, but to feel a sense of belonging and deep affinity to a world-class organization enabled by trust and respect. I think best teams weather storms together. They have each other's back, they care for each other, and they pick each other up after a loss or tragedy. That's how we remain the world's most elite, integrated, full spectrum, and combat credible fighting force. And without innovation, we lose the ability to continually improve and attract and retain talent. While China and Russia can build their ships, tanks, aircraft, ordnance, and post pictures on social media all they want, our weapon systems are not just window dressing. They're not just talking points. Our weapon systems are built by talented industrial base and manned by battle-hardened warfighters who are absolutely ready to take the fight to the adversary and win. And speaking of our sailors and families, right now there are 15 submarines deployed around the world, showing firsthand why the President, the Secretary of Defense, the combatant commanders, and Navy leadership rely on the submarine force as the first to the fight and last to leave as the steely-eyed killers of the deep. Now, I'm not the first, and I certainly will not be the last to tell you that it is an indisputable fact that our two carrier strike groups, the Gerald R. Ford and the Ronald Reagan, are currently operating off the coast of Norway and in the Western Pacific, are the centerpiece of not only our naval fighting force, but our ability to overtly project power and strategic deterrence around the world. That force is a direct output of your efforts. You are joining an employer which is part of a world-class team of professionals focused and bore-sighted on helping the Navy secure our nation's vital national interest. We could not do it without you. As you will hear from the next few speakers, this program works, but it's still in its infancy. We will learn. As the talent pipeline expands across the East Coast, from Philadelphia to Hampton Roads to New York and Boston, we must all remain committed to improving our processes and continuing to invest in ourselves and our talent base. But as the famous American journalist and author Thomas Friedman observed, quote, "The most enduring skill you can bring to the workplace is the ability to learn how to learn." So in closing, I would argue that your journey toward true mastery of your craft is where you will find genuine fulfillment and passion for your career, imbuing you with a powerful combination of comprehensive knowledge and superior craftsmanship. You will work hard, no doubt, dedicated to a career that has real meaning to your family, to your community, to your Navy and nation, and to the world. After all, when you see your ships doing great things, like the Ford and Reagan out there right now, you will have the privilege of telling yourself and your loved ones, and everyone should listen to you, I did that. I helped make my country safe and secure today. I do it every day. Thank you and congratulations.
First, I want to say to Mr. Sermon and Command Master Chief Sturgill, thank you. Thanks for putting your confidence in the supply chain. Thanks for our company, for Fairlead especially. We committed to you. We're not going to let you down. We're by that. We're not going to let it down. To the Admiral's words earlier, the fight begins right now. Like we have to start doing this right now. So thank you for that. This process changes and disrupts how we look at talent. It disrupts it in all aspects. And the two pieces for us that we learned the most from was we don't want any process sludge in anything that we do at Fairlead. In other words, we want things to flow easily, and you don't want to be walking through what feels like sludge to get anything done. Just want it to work like a well-oiled machine, except our recruiting process. We want it to be hard because we want it to be a little bit laborious. We want it to be multiple steps because we want to find out who really wants to come work for us. And I find it amazing when we start looking at all the data that if we have 1,500, 1,600 applicants last year, they had to watch a 15-minute video before they moved to the next step. And only about half of those 1,600, about 800, moved on to the next step after watching a 15-minute video. And we look at that and say, well, that's terrible. And I look at that and say, no, that's great. Because that already didn't cost us anything. It cost us to host that video on a server, but already we know here's half of the talent pool who doesn't want to come be part of our business. And that to me, that's a huge success. But that process of making it a little more difficult, it helps us start hiring for culture versus skill set. I have a core group of friends from high school that I get together with each year in Maine, from northern Maine, and every year we get together in southern Maine, 9 of us, and we've been doing it for the past 10 years, and you start talking about everything you do, and some of the guys are in software, and one gentleman sells insurance, 2 of them sell insurance and everything, and I get to go in there and say, yeah, that's neat, but we build large sections of submarines and aircraft carriers, and we put electrical mechanical equipment on submarines and aircraft carriers, and we fix every ship class in Hampton Roads. And you're like, yeah, well, that sounds a lot better than selling insurance. Because it is. It's more important, and it's okay in our culture to say something's more important than something else. And the fact we're doing this today to honor the importance of all of you who bring your hands and your minds to work every day to help the Navy get the products to who needs it, the warfighter, and get them back home safely. It's important.
Good morning, and welcome, family, friends, and dignitaries. Thank you for having me. As Ms. Mary said, my name is Cassandra Blythe, and I would like to give a special thanks to TMG and the Department of the Navy for this opportunity. This morning, I wanted to share a bit of my story and how I came to this point in my life. In 2018, my life was going pretty good. I was content. I had resigned my position as a teacher assistant for 10 years to help my husband build his trucking company. We have 4 sons, 1 daughter, and had just become grandparents. A year later, my family experienced several dramatic events. My husband was murdered. My youngest son suffered a severe mental illness, and then the pandemic happened. Things became very stressful very quickly. I was mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, and in financial distress. My children and I sought healing and counseling through God and therapy. It was to embrace a new normal. I saw a commercial promoting the Virginia G3 tuition assistance program and decided to investigate it further. This was perfect because I did not have time to attend a 4-year program, nor did I have the funds. I needed to learn a trade so I can start earning and providing for my family. I chose the Certified Welding Program at Virginia Peninsula Community College. It was drastically different from what I was used to, but it wasn't totally unfamiliar. My 2 grown sons both have careers in welding for the defense industry. They offered support and dared me to give it a try. Everyone at VPCC was extremely helpful, from the front desk staff who walked me to class the first day, especially my instructors, Mr. Earl Williams and Mr. Desi Bailey. They explained in detail and demonstrated every weld process. I learned how to configure the Lincoln Electric welding machine and to troubleshoot and resolve problems. Every exam was challenging and sometimes frustrating, but I never gave up. Mr. Williams and Mr. Bailey always offered encouragement and suggestions on how I can become better. One thing I will always remember was the ABCs. Always be comfortable. They believe that if you are not comfortable, it would be impossible to weld at a steady flow. Throughout my academic career, I've learned to place the utmost importance on safety. On November 16th last year, the Virginia Talent Pipeline Project hosted a career discovery event with VPCC as the host location to include a welding competition with Project MFG. I visited several employer tables, but for some reason, Advex stood out. I met Mary and Byron, who told me they were doing a tour of their facility, which piqued my interest. During the tour, everyone was pleasant and smiling. I even met the president, Mr. Jackson, who shook my hand. Several employees spoke to me about their experiences, and I heard longevity, growth, care, community, and pride. It felt like home, a place I could see myself. It didn't hurt that Advex was less than 20 minutes away from my home. I emailed Mary less than a week later to express my interest, even though my projected graduation date wasn't until March 9, 2023. I was excited to hear back from Mary right away, and we sat down and met and discussed benefits. Advex had decided to take a chance on me, and I started part-time on February the 27th. Immediately, they paired me with Kevin Humphrey, Advex's welding supervisor. He became and still is an amazing mentor and teacher. He is patient, knowledgeable, and gives constructive feedback. He's willing to help me with everything from finding the proper voltage and wire speed for my welding machine to how to properly field and clean a rat hole. Since becoming a full-time employee at Advex, I've been given the opportunity to master every weld process and advance my skills and pay. My coworkers are helpful and a joy to be around. I love how our day starts. It starts with a safety meeting by our manager, Ken Smoker. He then addresses every concern or issues and answers any questions that the group may have. This is followed by a warm-up stretch, and then we start our day. So far, I'm enjoying the peace that comes along with welding. I like how nothing else matters in that moment, and knowing I have a hand in helping our United States Navy and being a part of the defense industry base. I love the challenge of becoming a master craftsman, one day, one bead at a time. These days, when me and my children get together, we talk in depth about welding. Apparently, it must have rubbed off because my daughter, who is here with me today, applied for and was accepted for the welding program at New Horizons in Hampton for the 2023-2024 school year. I hope. I hope to encourage women of all ages and inspire girls to seek a trade that is rewarding and fulfilling. Ladies, you are important, and what you choose does matter. In this journey called life, we will have trials and tribulations and even fall down. But girl, get up and keep going. Thank you.